Courtyard Arts, Hertford. The current show is the Impressions of Languedoc 2011, which took place in May when 10 painters travelled to Languedoc, the village of Paziol, and to the town of Collioure, and various wonderful scenery in between. And here we have the exhibition with artist Fiona Gustafson having created her solitary moule from the famous moule marinière dish, and David Bloomfield's landscape, and Bernard Ward's street scene in Villefranche-de-Conflans. And his other pictures are, this one's in Collioure, and this one is the Moulin, the mill in Cucugnan. Fiona Gustafson again with her birds, herons, and typical domestic window. And our art tutor, Gillian, who always manages to make a wonderful abstraction out of the landscape. Here are two of her works, Gillian McKenna. And Stuart was a bit in love with Van Gogh, and so you can see this early Van Gogh influence on his windmill. And Stuart Hillen again with his representation of Quéribus, the chateau of Quéribus, same as Cathar Castle. And Fiona Gustafson with her pretty watercolour of Barge, little town on the Étang in Languedoc. And this is Ruth Ward's beautiful green landscape capturing the essence of Languedoc with its shapes and pine trees. And here we have Barbara Bates and her image of Paziol itself, very mysterious moonlighty image. And here's myself, Brian Andrews, with his painting from the terrace of his house in Paziol, looking towards the church. You can see I'm a real fauve. And here's Ruth Rankin with her pastels. This one is of Collioure, and this one is of Fort Elm, Collioure. And here is a landscape in Collioure. And here is one of the treats of Collioure, an ice cream. And this one is watercolour by Ruth Ward of Collioure, with the water glinting and the cafes in the background. And here we have David Bloomfield, who's done several representations of the famous Bell Tower, which has been painted originally by Matisse and André Derain, which is why we're attracted to the area. There's the third one that he did. And here's his painting of a tree. And here's one of mine, Brian's paintings, a bit influenced by Miro, of the tower itself and a Catalan boat. And here we've got a series of Chateau de Quéribus. This one's by Fiona Gustafson. This one's by Jane Hillen. This one is by Ruth Ward. And here we have another bell tower by David, which we use for our publicity flyers and posters. And here's a landscape, a moody landscape by Barbara Bates. And here's a bit of promotion for next year's holiday, which will take place in May 2012, the French painting holiday. And then here's a fabric work of art by Jane Hillen. And then we have several by Stuart Hillen, Collioure Bell Tower. another version of the Collioure Bell Tower, and a version of Chateau de Quéribus. And here's a very unusual painting by Fiona Gustafson of Collioure by night. And by myself, Brian, the tower in Villefranche-de-Conflans, the medieval fortress village. And an abstract landscape by Barbara Bates. And a view of Passiole Bridge, the Roman bridge at Passiole, by myself, Brian. And from another little village, the village of Usse, one of the picturesque villages of France, my painting of the church in that village. So just looking around, taking a wide view of all the paintings. We had a very fine private view. The gallery was completely packed, and we had French music played, which added to the atmosphere. And so I'm glad you came to see this little show with me, and look forward if you would like to come on the next French painting holiday. Au revoir.